You know me, I'm a huge believer in podcasters treating themselves like brands. And that is why today I am continuing my International Podcast Day celebrations by spotlighting a podcaster that I believe exemplifies niche branding more than any other that I have worked with. This is the Podcast Accelerator. I'm your host, Mark Asquith, that British podcast guy and CEO and co-founder here at Rebel Base Media, where we make such podcasting products as podcast websites, Productivity, the Podcast Success Academy, and the world's only growth-oriented podcast host, Captivate.fm, which is making waves in the podcasting community for its simplicity, its power, and its thoughtfulness. So please go and check it out now if you want a place to host multiple podcasts for just one cost. Go and check it out for 7 days at Captivate.fm. Now, like I said, this is part of my International Podcast Day celebrations. The last episode, I spotlighted a great friend of mine, Mr. Steve Lazarus from Your London Legacy, and we talked about what it's like to develop just a natural storytelling technique. And in this particular episode, I want to focus on another friend of mine, Carm Capriotto from Remarkable Results, who I believe exemplifies just the idea of building a niche brand around a podcast. So before I dink into that, let me just tell you that AWeber, well, you know what it's like. I'm always talking about it. AWeber are giving you 90 days to try their email marketing platform for free. They've just launched an amazing new feature, which is their Email Smart Designer, which allows you to put a URL into their platform, and AWeber will be designing an email template and an email design that matches your brand automatically. It is absolutely outstanding. It's something that I'm using myself as we speak. All right, now this offer from AWeber is going away. Okay, so 90 days for free is going away very soon. Please go and get started with email marketing to build your relationships with your audience at markasquith.com/AWeber. Right, I'm a firm believer in podcasters building and acting like from day one a brand. And a brand is more than audio, it's more than a product, it's more than a logo. A brand is an experience, which is why, as part of this International Podcast Day celebration, I'm spotlighting one of the best niche podcasters in the world, Carm Capriotto. Now, Carm Capriotto is one of the founding members of Podcast Websites, actually. He took a chance on us when we were a fledgling company. And before Rebel Base Media existed, before Captivate, before Productivity and the Academy, we were Podcast Websites, and we created that web platform for podcasters. And Carm joined us as a founding member, and he began his journey with Podcast Websites 430 something, I want to say, episodes ago. And Carm has just built and built and built. And I've worked with Carm for a long time. I've been very fortunate to get to know Carm. We've shared pizza together at Giordano's in Chicago, even. And we've got to know each other really, really well. We've got a great rapport. We wind each other up. You know, we straight talk to each other. Sometimes he tells me off. Sometimes I tell him off. But ultimately, we've got this great friendship, and I respect Carm above many, many other people. He's one of the few people that really, really just will tell me what I need to hear. He's a fantastic man and a fantastic family man, and I love him to pieces for that. But what he's also exceptional at, he's a visionary, all right? And we've worked together on this, which is, it's not just about creating amazing audio when it comes to a podcaster. And believe me, Carm creates amazing audio. He is the NPR of the automotive aftermarket. He will edit his show beyond all others to give people the finest audio experience. And that is why he is the best in the business. This is why people look to him as a thought leader in the automotive aftermarket. It's why he's speaking all over the world. It's why he is the number one automotive aftermarket podcaster, not only in the world, but moving forward for the future. Now, the reason for this is that Carm focuses wholeheartedly on his listener, and he wants the experience for his listeners to be absolutely vital. And what I'm talking about here is that Carm not only talks, and Carm is a talker, you know, he's the classic Italian-American friendly guy. He's the world's most loquacious and intelligent and inquisitive person. But do you know what else he is? He's the world's best listener. He will take things and interpret things, and he will then use them to craft a story. And this is brand Carm. This is what has allowed Carm to build not only his show under Remarkable Results Radio, but his own network that features Carmcast, the Town Hall Academy, that features multiple shows and over 400 episodes of just absolute pure gold for his listeners. And he gets results. He gets remarkable results because what he does is he not only puts the listener first, but his industry. Everything that he does is for his industry. And when I talk about experience, what I mean here is that he won't let something go out of the door if he believes it's not serving his audience. And if it's not answering a question that they need answering, if it is not giving them something that they're not getting elsewhere, and if it is not scratching an itch that is not being scratched anywhere else. And the real kind of beauty of what Carm does is that he will be constantly thinking. He's the world's busiest podcaster, all right? But he's always developing new ideas. But what he does so magically and beautifully is he never takes his eye off why he's doing this. His vision is to help the automotive aftermarket over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And he will do it. His legacy is to do this. This is his professional legacy, is to do this, all right? And he is doing it. Now, what can you learn from Carm? Well, I'll tell you what you can learn from Carm. Very simply, you can learn that podcasting is not all about just putting things out. It's about curating. It's about being mindful of what your industry needs. It's about being the pulse of the industry and putting yourself forward when it's scary to be that. Putting yourself in positions that make you uncomfortable. Saying the things that are difficult to say and hearing the things that are difficult to hear. But doing so with an air of optimism and a way of just distilling your industry down to its core components. And that is what Carm Capriotto does so very, very magically. And I've included here in the Podcast Accelerator feed, if you just look at your podcast app now, whatever you're listening on, or if you're listening on the website, you are going to see that I've dropped a bonus episode which features Carm's trailer. Just listen to his voice. He and Steve Lazarus, I believe, have got two of the most wonderful podcasting voices on the planet, along with someone else that I'm going to spotlight over the next couple of weeks. So go and check Remarkable Results out. You might not be in the automotive aftermarket, but you can learn from Carm's format. I truly believe that he is the NPR of his industry, and there's always something that we can learn from a man of that stature. Now, thank you for joining me here on the Podcast Accelerator. Coming up, it is International Podcast Day, coming up on Monday, the 30th of September, which means that I'm going to be reflecting on 5 years of my podcasting journey. I launched my show on the 30th of September, 2014, to a mass of support from the industry, from people I didn't know that just made me feel so very, very welcome. And I've been very fortunate to be able to do that for other people since then. And I'm going to drop on Monday my own first episode. The first ever solo podcast that I did. I'd done podcasting before with my friend Gary, but my first ever time of being in front of the mic solo, I'm going to drop that for you, and just you wait at the difference. Just wait, because I believe that we're all on a journey, and that journey begins somewhere. So I'm going to give you my beginning. But until then, go and check Captivate.fm out. It's been billed as the most thoughtful podcasting platform on the planet by my good friend Matthew Passy. So please go and check that out. He's a wonderful podcaster and a wonderful podcast consultant. So you should trust what he says because it's fantastic. All right, go and check it out. Captivate.fm, 7-day free trial. And until the next time, never forget, the more you expect from yourself, the more you will excel.